I never had a clue. I didn't know what I could do. A little time, and you will see the magic of public speaking.
Welcome, everybody, to the Communication Lecture Series. I am your host, Adam Banks, and this is an interactive podcast where I take a communication topic and I lecture over it. Now, I do want to remind everybody that we are available on Facebook at facebook.com/communication lecture series, where you can interact with me, the host, and other listeners of the podcast by posting questions, by answering questions, and by leaving your comment. You can also email the Communication Lecture Series at communicationlectureseries@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you, and I appreciate all of the listens so far. Today, the topic that we are going to be discussing is a career development topic. And I'm going to, from time to time, do these career development topics because career development and communication can go hand in hand. There is a lot of communication correspondence that is required when dealing with workplace communication. So today our topic is going to be dealing with career development. So I would like to talk to you, the audience, today about thank you letters. Thank you letters are letters that you write to potential employers that you have interviewed with. They are simply things that you send as an antidote to stand out against the competition. I think that thank you letters are very important. They are not required. You do not have to send a thank you letter to an employer after they have interviewed you. You absolutely do not have to do that. But what a thank you letter does for you is help you stand out. It helps you be remembered. You got to think. You're going up against other people. If you send a thank you letter, all that will do will just help them remember your name even more. It will help them remember your interview even more. So thank you letters are crucial, in my opinion. I think that thank you letters should always be sent. Now, I live in the 21st century, and we all live in 2022, and we know that people don't send actual letters, send letters, put them in an envelope, put a stamp on it, send it out. We don't really do all of that. But you do send letters digitally. So you can write a letter, write it up just like a letter on Microsoft Word, and send the letter via email. So yes, they're still up to date. Thank you letters are still dated. They're not outdated. So yes, you should still send thank you letters. Now, if you choose to send it postal mail, that's your choosing. But you can choose to send it virtually. If you want my advice, I would send the thank you letter virtually. It gets there instantly. Postal mail, they get your thank you letter later. Virtual thank you letters, you can also send the letter to multiple people instead of having to make copies and send it to everybody that possibly interviewed you that was on the committee. So, yes, thank you letters help you stand out. Now, let's talk about what you should include in a thank you letter. You should set your letter up just like you have been your other letters, your letters of resignation, your cover letter. You should set up your letters just like that. So you have your personal information up top, name, address, phone number, email, all of that. Then you have the person that you're addressing the letter to and all of their information. And so in this case, it would probably just be hiring committee. And then you would put the company, the address, the email, and the phone number of the company. And then you would date the letter. And then you would say, "Dear hiring committee," and then continue with your letter. Your letter will be about 3 paragraphs. The first paragraph will be you saying thank you. You want to start off your letter by saying thank you. It is a thank you letter after all. So start your letter off by thanking them for interviewing you. Remind them who you are. Maybe mention something that you specifically talked about in the interview. If you had a human moment, you talked about sports, or you talked about gardening, or you talked about a hobby that you share, maybe you can mention that right in the introduction, just to remember them, just to remind them who you were. Keep in mind, you're not the only one that interviewed for the job. In the second paragraph, you want to express your enthusiasm. You want to emphasize your enthusiasm for the job. You want to emphasize your skills and abilities. You want to also add in anything that you forgot in the interview. I know sometimes I've went into interviews before and I've gotten really excited and I have forgotten things that I have wanted to say, and I have left out things that I wish I would have said. So a thank you letter, it gives you an opportunity to go back and correct that mistake. So in that middle paragraph, just express your enthusiasm. Talk about anything that you forgot in your interview. Again, in the end, tell them that you look forward to hearing from them and you are anxiously awaiting to move on to the next steps. But thank you letters do nothing but help you stand out. They see it as courteous. They see it as good etiquette. And sometimes people might hold it against you if you don't send a thank you letter. Some people expect things like that. And sometimes it's the little things that you do that makes you stand out. After all, working with people with good etiquette and polite manners says a lot about somebody. And people want to work with good people. So just like we've talked about at the beginning of this course with soft skills, it's very important to have a good attitude, to have good manners, to have good etiquette. And thank you letters display that. So thank you letters are very important. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much wraps up this episode of the Communication Lecture Series. I want to, again, thank you for all of you listeners for tuning in whenever we post a new episode. Remember to like us on Facebook and to leave a question or comment. And we also have polls on the Facebook page where you can vote on what you want the next topic to be over. So please do that. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Adam Banks, and this is the Communication Lecture Series. I will see you in the next episode.